Can you talk a little bit about Mansfield University where you teach? What's the guitar program like there? How big? What are you looking for in like a prospective student?
Yeah, Mansfield, it's a very small school. I think the total student population is something like 2,000 or 2,500. It's part of the state system, so it's a state school. But it's one of the state schools, and that's sort of known as the music school for the state system. So it has a fairly large music program. I think something like 10% of the student body is either in the music program or involved in the music program in some way. So it's a pretty high-profile thing on the campus. As far as the guitar studio goes, it varies widely. Like I've had as few as 5 students and as many as I think a maximum was like 13. Right now I have 10 students there, and it's usually a pretty good mix. Like right now it's I think like 4 or 5 performance majors, a couple of music education majors. We have some music technology and music business majors as well, so a nice mix of sort of the different degrees. As far as what I'm looking for, it's again, it varies widely. Like sometimes I'll get a student who's studying with someone that I know, or now I've been teaching there for long enough. Sometimes it'll be former students of mine are their teachers, so I know about them well in advance, and they've had really good instruction. And then another times I get players who have had sometimes even self-taught on the classical guitar, but that clearly have a lot of talent and have worked really hard. And I mean, there's still, I think, a lot of that in the guitar world where, in the at least high school level classical guitar education, it's not as codified as it is, say, in the piano world or the violin world. So oftentimes I'm just sort of looking for talent and workability, someone who's gonna, you can tell when they're gonna work hard or when they're really into it and will, are gonna work out. So yeah, so it's an interesting process for sure.
Yeah. Do you have any tips for guitarists in general, like things that you've noticed with your students that you've had to fix a lot of, or?
I'm a big advocate of slow practice, which I think a lot of people are. I try to always remember what I was like when I was 17 or 18 and playing classical guitar, and I would, I'm sure we've all been through this, you start the piece at the beginning and you play through to the end and you make a lot of mistakes, and then you go back and you do it again, and then you do it again, and those mistakes get practiced in even more. So I encourage, dividing up the music into phrases and sort of practicing phrase by phrase rather than going for the big picture too soon. I encourage students to write in lots of fingerings all the time and to put that metronome on to force yourself to slow down and really get things learned well. The other thing I always tell my younger students is just to practice as much as you can when you're in college, because that's the time of your life when I think you really have the most time to do it, and you're probably at the peak of your powers in some ways. So it's a great time to just dig in and do all the practicing that you can, so that later in life when you have more bills to pay and all that stuff, you've done the work that you need to do to keep going. So
yeah. So what are your upcoming projects? Are you planning on recording more, or what are your chamber music groups up to?
Yeah, I just got back from a tour with the saxophone guitar duo, and we've done a bunch of playing. We have some more trips planned in the upcoming year. The bass guitar duo as well. We have some trips coming up in the spring. And the bass guitar duo, actually, we just finished or completely finished a CD that we recorded a little while ago that's coming out on Centaur Records, I think in the next couple of weeks or so. I have copies of it now, so it should be released officially sometime in the next month, hopefully. And the saxophone guitar duo, we have a sort of demo CD that we take around on concerts. But we're at work on we've been commissioning a lot of music, and we're waiting on a couple of more pieces to be finished. And then I think next semester and maybe into the summer, we're going to record all these new pieces that were written for us and put them together on a CD also. So those are sort of the newest things.